Good morning and welcome to a beautiful Shell V-Power Motorsport Park here in Tailem Bend for the Shannons Trophy Series. I'm Cameron Vandendung and looking forward to a big day of action here on the 7 Plus network. Also across our Motorsport Australia channels, it is amazing conditions here at the moment. I'll say amazing because it's an ambient temperature of about 14 degrees. There's a gentle breeze coming across behind me, and if you can see in our marshalling area right now, it's the Australian Prototype Series. They will be our first category out on track as part of our 7 Plus coverage. 9 laps will be the journey for these drivers. We've got so much racing coming up across the course of the day though. We've got the Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge, always a race to enjoy, watch some young talent on their way up, making their way through the ranks, hoping to have a drive in Carrera Cup in the next couple of years. We've got production cars as well coming up today. I'm really looking forward to their racing. We've got the Radicals as well. There's so much to see here on the 7 Plus network. We've got so many different commentators joining us, and as you can see, the run down to turn 1 here at this world-class circuit is going to be frenetic earlier today. So remember, if you're tuned in here, you can get us on 7 Plus. You can also get us on our YouTube channel and across the Motorsport Australia platforms. There's lots of racing. We've got some endurance racing with some forced pit stops, which we'll see later on today. 9 laps, though, as I mentioned before, for the Prototype Series. I don't know if we can get too much closer. I don't want to test our signal. But if you can see over here, plenty of the cars getting themselves set for this first race. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge for them, though, particularly with this wind. As I've been talking to you, the wind's coming across my shoulder here, which means it'll be a crosswind down the main straight. So it won't really affect the braking down into turn 1, which is something that can happen here quite easily, especially if the wind starts to swing around. This is the last of our trophy series for the year. Really looking forward to seeing so much of the racing. And if we look back up this pit lane as well, so we'll get Boxer to swing around and have a look up this way as well. Whilst it looks quiet at the moment, this will be a hive of activity. I'll be bringing you all of the action from down here in pit lane. Really looking forward to a lot of the racing. Some of the garages up here, we'll try and sneak up to a couple of these cars and give you a look as we get set for the racing today. The production cars are one that I'm really looking forward to in particular as well. Just saw before Michael Stillwell with his new Mustang, and we might grab him and Ray Hislop in a second, have a look at the cars. Young Courtney Prince, I remember interviewing her here. She's racing in Porsches these days, although we'll be in a production car this weekend. Her garage is closed now. Perfect timing, that one. The very first time I ever interviewed Courtney Prince was in Formula Ford out here down in the marshalling area. She actually got excluded from that weekend, but we won't talk much more about that. I'm not sure if Michael or Ray are anywhere to be seen in here at the moment. Are they in there? We got Michael or Ray anywhere nearby? I'll see if I can steal one of them. I can't bring them out. Can you grab for me if that's all right? We're just live on 7 Plus at the moment. If I can grab Ray Hislop or Michael Stillwell, would be great. So this car, I remember seeing this just out at Sandown not long ago. Spoke to Dave Stillwell, who's the son of Michael Stillwell, talking about how they're developing this car and bringing it along the journey. It's going to be an interesting race weekend for this car in particular. I don't know if you can get in there and get a shot of that Boxer for me as we wait for one of our drivers to make their way out and have a look. Plenty of action's going to be occurring out on track today. Lots of work on this car. They've brought this one in, and I don't think I'm getting any luck getting our drivers. If I can, we will. You can see in there as well the sharing cars. There's going to be a compulsory pit stop for them. They'll have to take 2 of their wheels off throughout their pit stop, and they can either put them back on or put on some new tyres. And I'm not seeing any activity out of the back of the garage. So that's worked beautifully at the moment, trying to have a chat to our drivers. Cars starting to roll out on track, though, for the Australian Prototype Series, just as the drivers are becoming available. But that's all right. Remember, 7 Plus, stay tuned all day long. You can also get us across YouTube, Motorsport Australia channels. The Australian Prototype Series out on track. They've got a 9-lap race coming up. The Excels are on the other side of that. So let's now start to lead into the commentary. It'll be Darren Smith and Michael Stratus up in the commentary box, but let's check out this category, the Australian Prototype Series. Sorry about the confusion. I went wrong garage down.
And that's a very internationally renowned particular individual car. So great to see Mark in the Lauken Flour Mills car off pole position here. Scotty Borman, the Wolf F1 Extreme. Now you can tell this one, it sounds like a Can-Am car, and they're coming around back into the complex now. We'll get through the grid. Miles Lacey is next to Jason Macris, and Jason Macris has had to go home. So more dramas there personally for Jason. So I think we were going to be spoilt to have Jason here because he's a ripping driver again, a champion of the category. Miles Lacey in the 2-litre Formula Renault-powered Praga in there, the only enclosed vehicle in this field. Alex Gardner, then it's Andrew McKee, a newcomer to the game. Peter Clare, Phil Hughes, watch for the charging 2.7-litre V8 Bira Baraka Ferrari fixer car coming through the field. That's car 42. Greg Kenny and John Paul Drake. This will be the one to watch coming through from the back of the field.
Absolutely, Darren. And John Paul Drake is a fantastic driver. He's won his first title last year, and watch him charge through. And here they go off the start line, and it's a pretty strong start from Mark Lauke, who won his first race yesterday for the year. But at the end of the day, it is Lauke has kept his lead over Scott, and very nicely done by himself.
Phil Hughes has done a massive drag race start there. Starting out of 8, finds himself into P3, got mixed up in a bit of a melee with a bit of a bump in the back from Jason Macris in the early stages of the race. The Praga running wild there. So Miles Lacey, experienced international competitor, and here is the Joker, John Paul Drake. Lacey gathers it all back up again. Gets back through on Alex Gardner. This will be good for Alex Gardner to mix it up with a couple of different cars. Normally runs the Radical Australia Cup Series where they're all the same. Every single one of these cars, just by the nature of the word prototype, they are absolutely different. We do have, by the safety of numbers really, a lot of Wolves out there, but this car, a magic looking car. It's like one of those ones you'd play with as a kid. It was your favourite one in the toy box. These little Pragas, they're just magnificent, beautiful looking little pieces of art here, and Miles Lacey's got it all gathered back up again. But boy oh boy, hear that thumping car of Scotty Borman's, the Coyote. It's actually called a Voodoo, and he's, as a result of success yesterday, they've taken 500 RPM out of that car for him. Shouldn't be too much of a problem to him, because he did say to me he's short shifting anyway because it's such a wild piece of kit.
Absolutely, and it would be interesting for Alex Gardner today. He is dominating the Workhorse Radical Cup Australia, so it would be nice for him to be a bit challenged, a bit down the order. So we'll see how he follows, and he goes. And Mark Lauke is just dropping purple sectors left, right and centre here, so he's enjoying a great start to the race.
He has. He's had a troubled season, and they've raced here previously early on in the year with the Lamborghini Super Trail Asia Series, and this is certainly the home of the West. Sorry, not the West, the Wolf Racing team at Jam Motorsport. They do a lot of driving here. There's Scotty Borman. Have a look at that thing. Looks like a praying mantis, doesn't it? Except for a praying mantis doesn't have those massive rear tyres on it.
And Lacey just overtaking John Paul Drake there, which is something that JP is probably not used to as of late, because he's been so dominant in the series in his recent times. So let's see if he can get that position back. But great start from John Paul Drake as well, to start from the back of the grid and to make up, 5-6 positions straight off the bat.
This field is full of plenty of those A-type personality drivers. They love a laugh. They really are a great group in the paddock. You go down there and they all come and it's hugs and kisses and how you going, and great to see you at the racetrack. But boy, when they put the helmets on, it's no holds barred sort of racing. The interesting thing for me at this point in time is that in the top 4 cars, we've got 2 tyre brands being represented. The Lauke and Borman cars running on the Hancooks, and the Hughes and Lacey cars are running on Goodyears. And this has come out of Phil Hughes, who is a very deep thinker, a very, very deep thinker. He said, well, I've got something different. I'm in a Radical. I'm not in a Wolf. I've got to do something different. I've got to find something different, an advantage. And with his connections worldwide via his Hughes Supercar Services business out of Brayside in Melbourne, spread his wings and searched the world. First of all, you've got to get the tyres that fit the car. and then a compound that will work. And these two cars coming on nice and strong, I'm sort of thinking that maybe the Goodyears are good, the better part in the early part of the race. The problem is that Mark Lauke and Borman are making a liar out of me and both on Hancooks and driving away with it at the moment. Very impressive. Mark Lauke is in every sense of the word a gentleman racer. Came to top-level competitive national motorsport quite late in life. Very successful local businessman out of Lauke Flour Mills, and he is driving brilliantly at the front. Here we go, Lacey and Hughes starting to get into it a bit here. We're 1/3 of the way through this race already. And John Paul Drake, which I think it's kind of interesting because if he needs to finish where he is now in both races today to have the championship, he's basically got his hands reaching out to grab the trophy for the series at the moment. But interestingly enough, at the moment, the real interest is Borman and Hughes, cars 2 and 3 on the road. Car number 7 is Scotty Borman. Car number 42 is Phil Hughes. We're looking at now there in the Birra Baraka Radical.
Well, I mean, Phil Hughes has another driver who's just risen in form as of late as well. He had a couple of struggling years, a couple of years back, but he's just found that speed and found that pace, and he's just towards the top end every race now.
Well, he's the rainmaster of this category. He won his first race at Sandown when the water was about a foot deep in the straight, and being an expat Pom, you'd have to understand that he's used to driving in wet conditions, and that day he turned from being a world-renowned mechanic, worked with the likes of Alan Simonson, the Prancing Horse Racing team. He became a race car driver because as soon as he got across the line and got the checkered flag, he thrust that middle finger in the air just like Sebastian Vettel would do. And he transformed from mechanic to race car driver that day. Interestingly enough, in the paddock this weekend, and I really congratulate Phil about this, it's a beautiful story, is his son. His son is here this weekend working on the car with him. And I only met Thomas for the first time yesterday, but Thomas is packing the car into the trailer here this weekend. The next time it rolls out, he's putting the seat belts on and going for a burn. So I really like that. I think that's pretty cool.
And Phil's a very good defender as well.
We're seeing that now.
He loves to get the shoulders out and just the elbows out and just reduce anyone from passing him. And as we can see here, Lacey's just had a couple of almost cracks at it, but just hasn't been able to get past, and that's something that Phil's really good at. But Mark Lauke, almost 5 seconds, that he's taken that lead out to.
He's doing a good job there, Mark Lauke. As I said, the absolute epitome of a gentleman is Mark Lauke, and he is so engaged with this series, and the technical aspect of it is the balance of payments, I'm talking economics now, balance of performance sort of thing. You've got to talk economics. This is motorsport, the big absorber of coin. But he is so passionate about making sure that everyone has a level playing field to race on. Have a look, Miles Lacey. You can see his gloves just correcting that as he went up on the ripple strip. Little mistake there because now Lauke has ranged right up behind as Lacey looks up the inside of Phil Hughes. He gets his elbows out like a front rower.
Should make the pass, and he does.
And he does. A nice move there. I think Phil just opened up the wheel there and allowed that to happen. The Goodyears might be working a little bit better on the Praga at this point in time.
And I reckon JP Drake now is just licking his lips. He's seen how it can be done, and I reckon he'll be trying to make a pass within a lap or two. But just going back to the radicals as well, I spoke about Alex Gardner being challenged. Looking at the radical class, he's just now 11 seconds ahead of anyone.
Correct. Yeah, he's doing a very good job there. And you'd expect so. He's doing a terrific job in the Radical Australia Cup. There it is, the Zagami Autosport car number 9. Great looking car. Now this is going to be interesting. These two have got a bit of a history here. JP looking onto the back of Phil Hughes. And JP's in 5th position. That's where he needs to finish this race. There is no reason for him to push any harder.
Do you think he'll go hard? Or
yes, of course I do.
Do you think he'll just sit there and wait and enjoy? The series is more important.
No. John Paul Drake is a local businessman or national businessman with the Drake's supermarket chain. And again, a ripping bloke, super competitive. You'd have to be taking on Woolworths and Safeway and Coles, wouldn't you, at their own game? And that's what Drake supermarkets do, and that's what Phil does. Have a look at this. This is an engaging battle. This is Peter Clare and Terry Knowles coming very, very close together, and they'll be doing this again a couple more times today, again during the 50-minute radical race. But the 47, Peter Clare, just holds on. Been doing this for a very long time, Peter Clare in his SR3 Radical. Battling it out now for 8th and 9th on the road. It's only Greg Kenny in the number 56 who is further back down the road in the Volante Rosso Motorsport Black Kite SR3 RSX.
Darren, I can see now on the timing that Gardner and Alex Gardner and Andrew McKee look like they're having a bit of a battle there, switching positions. McKee got him. Oh, there's a stop there. Who's that that's just stopped?
I think that's Andrew McKee.
That could probably explain the reason why Gardner got him just then.
Yeah, the number 13 of Andrew McKee, the Wolf F1 Mistral.
So on the side of the road, not sure what happened there, but hopefully we'll get a replay of that soon. But yeah, Alex Gardner must have been applying a bit of pressure on him, and maybe he couldn't handle it. But this battle, he's obviously now got to hold off Peter Clare and Terry Knowles to hold position, I guess, and hold on to 7th place.
So this is his first outing, McKee, in this Wolf F1 Mistral. Oh, lock up there. He's got balance issues on that car. Now, this is the same car that was very similar car to what Scotty Borman is running out in the front of this race. The number 13 has just been pegged back a little bit at the moment. The Scotty Borman car being the F1 Extreme. This is the F1 Mistral, which are a slightly different car. The F1 Mistral being the 2.7 litre turbocharged car, whereas the Extreme has got the Voodoo or Coyote engine, the Ford Coyote engine, which is a derivative of that is the Voodoo engine. And it just sounds fantastic. Really got that 1970s Can-Am sort of sound to it. Watching this battle now, the 94 coming through, and they're fighting pretty hard with Gardner. So he's gone through on Phil Hughes now. Phil Hughes looks like he might have issues. He's just backing out of the lap time a little bit at the moment. In fact, he's visibly slowing. That's not what we wanted to see for the battle for 2nd place in this championship, because at the moment, Scotty Borman is reaching out for 2nd place, and each metre that Phil Hughes is not covering at full race pace is just letting the AP1 car, and that is Australian Prototypes 1, which is Mark Lauke, Scott Borman, John Paul Drake, Lacey, Phil Hughes and Andrew McKee. And Jason Macris, sadly, hasn't taken to the track today. He was here. There is a family concern, and he's a Gold Coast-based businessman, and he is headed home. So, sadly, because he is also a series champion. Have a look at this now. Gardner on the back of Miles Lacey, an international race driver, comes over here specifically to drive this car for Zagami Autosport, the Praga, and he's doing a pretty good job with it. Of course, this is the car that Ricky Capo drove brilliantly last year. We're lucky enough to have Ricky Capo here this weekend. He's driving with Shane Smolin in the Porsche.
Just got to say, Darren, I mean, Alex Gardner, he was quite far back from behind Lacey, and he's just managed to make up all this time and catch up, and now he's on the back of him. But sadly for Phil Hughes, this is a bit of a replication as what happened yesterday. He was occupying sort of top 2, top 3, and then just fell away towards the back of the race. And similar to what's happened now, could this be the tyres?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yesterday there was damage because there was a coming together with him and Jason Macris. So we haven't seen any coming together. But yeah, I'm not sure. They had to fix they did put an entire new exhaust system on that car overnight. So
maybe it's
Thomas, his son, maybe there's an issue there. I don't know. That maybe they've left a screw undone somewhere, which I would find it's extremely un-Phil Hughes. He's very much a magnifying glass kind of guy to make sure everything's okay. But who knows, could be anything. As I've said a couple of times, these are prototypes. Every one of them is different. Even if they are a Wolf Tornado, a Wolf GB8 Tornado, a Wolf F1 Mistral, they've all got something that is unique to them. And this is an enthralling battle here with Lacey and Alex Gardner. Lacey trying hard, understeer off the exit of that corner, under power there. Whoa, that car is not nice at the moment. He's applying the right boot in that turbocharged Formula Renault 2-litre is what powers that car number 9, the Praga. Beautiful packaging work. You can see the back of the body off this car. It is absolutely a work of art. They've done a brilliant job. A very old brand, the Praga brand, and it's come back into the world of motorsport. And in a straight line, it's a jet. drives away from Alex Gardner.
But Alex Gardner gets back in the tight sections as well. And what's most impressive about Alex is that this is his first year racing.
It is, yeah. He sprung onto the scene at Sydney Motorsport Park, and he left pretty much everyone with their mouths wide open, going, "Wow, what a driver!" He's certainly on a pathway, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Now, this is where he'll have to try and make up ground of these tight sections, and because obviously Lacey will get ahead during the long straights. And
Petitclerc and Terry Knowles still going at it here down in 8th and 9th on the road there. The Osnets car, number 68 of Terry Knowles, working closely with one of motorsport's favourite ambassadors, Barton Moore, coaching away in the background. And was recently on the Grassroots Racing podcast and told his story, which was goosebumps story out of his career, and an international driver and one of the great guys in the pit and paddock area. So he's helping Terry Knowles, and he'll be on the radio just coaching him through how to get up onto Petitclerc and ultimately take that position back for 8th on the road.
It's really interesting watching the Gardner and Lacey battle, because Lacey always just keeps getting out a bit further ahead, and then Gardner just brings it back in. And similar with Claire here and Knowles, is that Claire will just get a little bit further ahead, and then Knowles will just drag back in and close it back down. And I'm not sure that the positions will change with one lap to go. But
exactly the same cars, these ones, Michael. So there's no difference really. It's just here's where we're seeing two different cars with two different iterations on what they're doing. Gardner and Lacey, experience and youthful enthusiasm is being controlled here by Alex. Sometimes we see with youthful enthusiasm can be thrown all away, but his car control and his ability to concentrate, and that is something that race drivers do need to focus on, is concentration over the race distance, over an entire race weekend, to remain focused.
Just got to add, I mean, we've sort of forgotten about him a little bit, but Mark Lauke is now 6 seconds ahead of the,
He's driven away, hasn't he? In fact, this is one of the biggest leads we've seen in this year's series.
And Scotty as well, not too shabby as well. 6 seconds ahead of John Paul Drake, who's now third, and should almost score some very valuable points towards his title point. And Alex Gardner having another crack at Lacey right there, but
we've only got half a lap left to do it in, so
that was probably it, wasn't it?
Yeah. He had to show his nose.
And looking back at a different battle, Knowles finally got the job done on Claire.
He has gone through.
So now we're just going to see
Gardner looks around the outside. He's going the long way, switches back, and gets the move.
Wow. Can he hold on to it, though?
Or does he? The Praga now looks to the inside. The Radical just getting through the gears a bit slower there. Praga getting off the corner there. The turbocharged outfit.
He did not like that.
Winds it up. No, he was sending a message.
No, he did not like that. And
here's our race leader.
There he is, 7 seconds ahead. He should be crossing the line very shortly to grab another victory. There it is, second victory of the weekend. It took him a whole season to get his first victory, but he's waited just one race to get his second. And Alex Gardner, can he chase down Lacey?
Scotty Borman gets to the line to take position number 2 in this one. And this, there it is. That's all gone away. I did say youthful enthusiasm. He controlled it right up to the penultimate corner, actually.
He won't be happy about that.
No, that was, well, he made it an effort. He threw the nose in there twice on the last lap. And, well, you've got to make an effort. There's no point finishing the race and saying, I didn't try and get it through. So that'll see John Paul Drake take the last step in this podium. And have a look at this. Phil Hughes is now being caught by the SR3s. So he is likely to be gazumped by these two SR3s in the 2.7 litre SR8 V8 and the two Hayabusa-powered Radicals, the SR3s behind here. So line astern with each other, an SR8, two SR3s. And that is how they finish with, we got Miles Lacey, Gardner, Andrew McKee getting through in the F1 Mistral.
And Greg Kenny, I think, just crossed the line as well.
Phil Hughes, Petitclerc, John Paul Drake. We didn't notice that one. John Paul Drake's disappeared back through the field as well. Last lap around a 155. He was running in the 150 brackets. So JP had an issue at the end of that race. And